Well, good day, everyone. My name is Vince Smith. I'm the Product Line Executive for GIS for Intergraph Security Government Infrastructure. Today we have a webinar on Intergraph's new mobile products, title being Geospatial Technology on the Go. Before we get started, just a couple of rules on the webinar, a couple of tips, a couple of hints. One is this webinar is being recorded, so no need to ask. Everyone that's registered here will get a link to that recording. Everyone's on mute at the moment, and your chat windows have all been disabled as well, so no chatting between each other. I'm going to go through the presentation. Feel free at any point to use the Q&A window. You should be able to find it on the bar at the top of the WebEx controls. Go ahead and type your questions in there. At the end of the presentation, I'll go ahead and answer the questions as they've come in, okay? So for today's webinar, these are the topics I'd like to cover. We've got two new mobile products coming out of Intergraph. One is called Intergraph Mobile MapWorks, and the other is called Intergraph Mobile Alert. I'm going to go over both of those products today. Basically talk about some of the key benefits, some of the features of both those products. That'll take a very short period of time. And then I'll probably dive into a couple of demonstrations, or at least some videos that I've got of demonstrations I've prepared. And toward the end, I'll point you to some other resources and collaterals that you could use to get some additional information. And then we'll take your questions. So to start with Mobile MapWorks, very simply, it is Intergraph's tablet-based field inspection and editing app for enterprise GIS data. So it runs on iPad and Android tablets used to take into the field to do field type inspections. What it does, it allows our customers, local governments, transportation authorities, utilities and communication firms, they can actually see, edit, and update all their asset information in real time in the field. It uses OGC standard services, so WMS, WFS. It means it's compatible with all the different GIS platforms on the market. Lets you work directly into your database without any conversion of data, any synchronization processes, or any temporary data stores, so a live connection to the data itself. The user interface is fairly configurable. You can fit it to a large or a wide range of different workflows or use cases that you may have. It's a very practical tool for the governments and transportation authorities and the communication providers. It works on the same devices as you use in your everyday life. So the same things that you do as far as reading your own email, chatting with your friends and family, reading books, etc. Those different tablets that you use can be used with these products. Therefore, it's very intuitive, requires little training, and it makes our users more productive. In essence, the catchphrase that's going around the industry now is bring your own device to work. So again, those things that you use at home, pick it up as you walk out the door, go to your job, and you're able to do your job with that same device. Mobile MapWorks is vendor agnostic. It works across 3G, 4G wireless, so it can work against any type of back-end as long as that back-end system or server uses the OGC compliant services WMS, WMTS, or WFST. So again, a live connection across 3G or 4G wireless connections, no need for data import or export. It does make use of the device's camera to take pictures, so as you're inspecting things out in the field, if you need to take a photo, upload that photo to the database, you can do so. The configurations are based on user identity. So username login is used to actually access the backend, the Mobile MapWorks backend. Based on that user identity, the user is given a choice of different configurations from which to do his job with. Once he's chosen those configurations, he'll have varying access to functionality and data based on that configuration specification. The Mobile MapWorks client is free. It will be available on iOS and the Android app stores, iTunes and Google Play. It will be downloadable from there to the device. It does use GPS integration, So if you need to actually navigate yourself or find your location, maybe you're zoomed in pan to a different location inside your map view and need to get back to your particular location, you can use the GPS for that. A couple of the other key features of the product. It does provide you some layer control, so you have different groupings of layers. So you have a base map backdrop, if you will, read-only overlay layers that you can turn on and off, and then editing layers as well. So the vector layer control actually turns on and off those and provides you the access to the geometry and the attributes. You can edit and review feature attributes. Pick lists are available and possible. That attribute list is configurable, so not everything in your GIS data needs to be taken out to the field or viewable in the field, so you can limit that inspector's access to data and what he can see and what he needs to get his job done. Again, you can edit the geometry as well. You can even add new features if you like. If you're out in the field and suddenly realize that something is not in the GIS database and you'd like to go ahead and collect it at your own site, you can do that. And again, it is configurable based on the user identity. And each user can have more than one configuration or access to more than one configuration at a time, and that specifies the operations that he can perform, and that's can be based on a per feature class basis. Another nice little feature of the Mobile MapWorks app is that you can do searches. So any search that you can do through the WFS OGC interface is available to you as you're out in the field. And everything, of course, it is tablet-based, so everything is going to be based on touch gestures for zooming and panning, navigating. Just a quick system overview. I like to do this for people that like to have a little bit better understanding of what the system looks like. There on the right-hand side, you see basically representation of our field workers, those that are out there in the field doing inspections on a daily basis, taking the tablets out, whether that's a iPad, iOS-based tablet, or an Android tablet, doing those corrections, do the inspections. Working against, again, 3G, 4G wireless connections into the web server, where you see that there are some services running back there that basically can take the information in, transfer that to the database server into the GIS database that are located on the left-hand side. And of course, in the middle at the top, there is a small database for Mobile MapWorks. It is where we have a definition of the user's devices, or user IDs and logins, and the configurations that they have access to. And of course, it wouldn't be an enterprise system if there wasn't a geospatial analyst back in the office that had actual access to the GIS data himself, seeing the changes that the field inspectors are making. So that's a quick overview of its key capabilities. What I'd like to do now is kind of break out of the PowerPoint just for a moment and give you a video of a short demonstration I put together for you. Let me bring this up. And this data, before I get started, is over the Las Vegas, Nevada area. What I'm going to start out with is just showing the access in the GIS department using, in this particular case, of course, Intergraph Geo Media as a desktop application. We've got some cell towers, and I'm going to make a short demonstration on the cell towers, and as you can see, I'm popping up the properties on those cell towers. We see we have a parcel owner, and we have a notes field. I'm going to work off of both of those with my Mobile MapWorks workflow that I put together. Again, here's another cell tower, again with notes and parcel ID, and even a third one here. We got several of these cell towers. You can see many of them across the Las Vegas Strip area. What you see now is a projection of my iPad onto my laptop, and I've recorded that using the third-party tool. I'm going to start up Mobile MapWorks. It's there in the center. Once the app starts up, I'll be prompted for a user identity and key in my password and log into the Mobile MapWorks system. Again, assuming that I'm a field inspector out in the field, taking my laptop or tablet out there, I now have access, or I see the configurations that I have access to, and I see Las Vegas there as the third one. I can click on it, and now I see the live GIS data, including one particular cell tower that's been put into my view, I can actually pan around, zoom out using touch gestures again. I can see more data brought in. And if you notice, I have a simple backdrop, image backdrop, but I don't see everything in the GIS. I only see the data that my configuration has allowed me access to. In this particular case, it's only the cell towers in the GIS data that I can see. I can pan around, zoom around, see that data. What I want to do next is do a quick search. And you see up in the upper right-hand side there, it says Enter Parcel Owner. If you remember back when I was looking into the data and through Geo Media, parcel owner was one of the attributes on the cell towers. And we do have a look-ahead capability here, so I'm going to start keying in a particular cell tower owner or parcel owner. And you can see it brings me a hit list of several towers that have Nevada Power as the owner for that particular parcel. I can click on one, and as I click on it, it actually centers that particular cell tower in my view, assuming it's the one that I've gone to that location and I'm there to inspect it, get a visual inspection of it, maybe determine what the condition of that cell tower is. Maybe it's operational, maybe it's not. But I'd like to go ahead and maybe move it from one status to the next. So I can click on that, and I see the types of activities or types of operations I can perform on that particular feature class, that particular cell tower. I can show the attributes, I can edit them, I could change its geometry, move it around if I wanted to, or delete it if I wanted to remove it from the GIS. And again, this is connected live back to the GIS data. So if I look at, just looking at the attributes, I want to edit one of the attributes. I'm going to edit the notes field. I'm going to change it from what's currently set to from proposed, maybe a proposed location for that cell tower, and move it to a different status in the notes field. But again, you see that I'm very limited on what information I'm seeing. Not everything in the GIS is being delivered to me. Only that's defined through that configuration, through that Las Vegas configuration, is shown to me in the attributes here. If I click on that notes, I can see the pick list. That's only two choices, proposed or plan. I can change that to plan and go ahead and send that off. And again, travel to the next cell tower that I need to review. Again, something from Nevada Power that I want to look at. Looks like it's in more of a built-up area next to some buildings here. Again, simply click on that particular cell tower, review that attributes if I want, edit the attributes, go in, change those notes from proposed to plan, and then send it off. Okay, very simple, very straightforward field inspection type of workflows with varying access to data and functionality. All right, what I'm going to do next is actually go back into Geo Media. And again, just to illustrate the point that the data is, in Mobile MapWorks, you are connected live to the GIS data. What I'm going to do is use the Geo Media search capability to do a search on the cell towers that I've got in my GIS database. Again, I'm probably that person that's back in that GIS department looking what the field inspector's doing, checking some of the changes that he's made. I'm going to do a quick search on Nevada Power. It'll bring me back, as you can see, a list of 12 different cell towers that actually have the parcel owner as Nevada Power. And as I click on that cell tower, I can see that, yes, it looks like this one actually has already been changed to planned. I can use my navigation tool and Q Edit and go to the next cell tower. That one hasn't been changed. If I go to the third one, click on it, look at the properties, and again, it looks like this one has already been changed as well. And again, I could just, using the Q Edit capability, search capability of Geo Media, go from one cell tower to the next, looking at the different statuses, checking the work that's been done by my field inspectors. Okay, so that just illustrates, like, again, a very simple workflow, editing data out in the field, being able to see those changes immediately back into the GIS data and into the GIS department. So what I'm going to do next is go back and change configurations, because I want to show you a couple of other things that you can do with the Mobile MapWorks application. I'm going to change to some data that allows me a little bit more freedom in doing some manipulations of the GIS data. See some buildings. Again, I got a backdrop. I have some buildings that have been digitized, vector layers on top of that. The light brown or tan circles are other features in the GIS database. I'm going to zoom into this particular building that I've got, show that I can actually edit geometry, maybe straighten this one up a little bit. Some of the corners there weren't as collected as well as they could have been, and I'm kind of a neat person, so I like having a nice rectangular building, so to speak, or at least showing the outline of the building. Now, as you edit the geometry, it is, again, a live connection going through the WFST data source, or data server, OGC service, I apologize, back to the database. It is making a round trip, so it has to go and send that geometry off and bring that geometry back. Here I'm showing some attributes on an adjacent building, but as it goes back out, it'll return that building outline. There you go. And you see it now. It takes a few seconds for it to make the round trip through the WFS service, back to the GIS database, and then back to the device in order to see that data back on your device again, on your tablet out in the field. The other thing I can do is actually digitize new geometry. So I can create a new polygon here. I can actually go in with my finger on the tablet, hit the corner points of the building, digitize that, send that off if I want. I can actually go in and change some of the layer controls as well. So I can see the different simple maps, planning restrictions, the titles that I've got, the base maps, whether or not those layers are turned on and off is something I can also manipulate. Okay, so that's basically a quick overview of Mobile MapWorks, a little bit of a demonstration of workflows you can achieve and some of the functionality in the product itself. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint, and we'll start to talk about the next product, which is Mobile Alert. Mobile Alert is a very unique, a little bit different type of application. It is really a cloud service, so it provides crowdsourced incident information for subscribing organizations, in particular maybe local governments or utilities. That it's a citizen engagement app, if you will. So citizens can download the app to their smartphone, whether that's iOS or Android, and begin to report things in their communities that they would like their local governments to act on. In essence, it provides those citizens with a simple app. They can anonymously send incident information to the authorities. It allows those members of the community to assist in public works. The citizens can upload those incidents themselves to a back-end that's actually hosted here at Intergraph. The citizens report the issues. It kind of helps the local governments or public works. Allows them to have additional resources, increasing their reach in response to issues requiring attention without spending more on their own personnel or hardware. So all governments, local governments, and municipalities out there today are all strapped with budget constraints, resource constraints. This is a way for them to engage the citizens in their community to assist in public works activities. Third bullet there, why the cities benefit from enlisting the masses to help define and pinpoint issues, but the citizens themselves contribute to the community at large and improving the overall quality of life in their communities. Again, the client app is free. It's available on for iPhone and Android smartphones, a free download from those respective stores, iTunes and Google Play. Mobile Alert is an Intergraph hosted system for subscribing customers. Therefore, all the installation, all the upgrades to the software, any support and maintenance that needs to take place is all done here by Intergraph. Just a little tidbit of information, both Mobile MapWorks and Mobile Alert were developed within the regions here at Intergraph, particularly in the European area, European community. Mobile Alert app been out for some time in Europe. It's been downloaded by probably more than 30,000 people there, and at one time was ranked the #1 app on the Danish iTunes. It's been subscribed by more than 75 local governments already worldwide. what we're doing is actually launching these apps globally now. So a little more about Mobile Alert. When you start up the app, the camera will be engaged automatically. It allows the citizen to take a picture of the incident they want to report to their local government. The GPS is also used to geo-reference the photo and used for the location. That GPS information location is used to do a reverse geocoding and get the address or the vicinity in which the incident is reported to. That information is sent off to the subscribing authority. If for some reason you're in a weak area, the citizen does have an opportunity to help pinpoint the location of the incident by navigating on the map himself. We do use Bing Hybrid as the backdrop for the map display. Once he's taken a picture, maybe tagged it in some way with some additional information, he gets a category, a list of categories, or a wheel of them. He can actually choose from a predefined list of about 12, basically indicating which category of the incident he wants to report to the local government. And then again, if he wants to put in a comment or something, he can. If for some reason the category that or the incident he has doesn't have an applicable category, there is a stock other category he can use. Once the incident's been sent off by the citizen, he's done his job. That incident comes into our back-end system, to what we've hosted here at Intergraph, and then an email sent out to a subscribing organization. If a subscribing organization exists in that area, they will get an email with XY location. Those emails can be departmentalized. So if you have, based on the category itself, so if you've got different people that you want to receive different incidents based on the category, you can supply those email addresses to us, and we will segment or segregate those emails out based on the incident category. Along with the email, it's possible to get an address, so the reverse geocoding, you get an address, get a location, get a URL with the photo, a neighborhood location on a map. May also have access through a login through the web portal, so that someone in the subscribing organization can view all the incidents, either in a list view or in a map view. People with the proper authorities can actually go in and update the status or even delete the incident themselves. And in through the portal itself, you can actually review the location and photo as well. Most of the access is provided through WFS. You can use WFS, the OGC service, for any further processing or geoprocessing you'd like to do on the incidents. And again, here's a simple architectural overview of the system. Again, majority of the processing is inside our hosted service. We are using Microsoft Azure to provide that service as well. You see on the right-hand side, citizens using their smartphones, whether that be an iPhone or an Android phone, taking pictures, reporting the incidents in. Those incidents come into our hosted system. The photos are geotagged and stored. We've got our own products in the back end. In particular, Geo Media Web Map provides a lot of functionality for us in actually storing the information off into a GIS database. If you notice on the upper left-hand side, the mobile alert database there, we've got all the customer information there to know who to send the emails to. We got the categories that are appropriate for that particular location. But more importantly is the fact that these just aren't incidents in and of themselves, but actual features stored in a Geo Media warehouse. A couple of other services there. You see the email service and some of the geocode service that we use out of Azure. And then the access at the bottom. Customers have access in their GIS departments through WFS to get through the portal. Excuse me there. So again, at the bottom, customer access, a portal, or through WFS to actually get the incidents and bring them into a GIS desktop. So again, I have a short demonstration, a video of a short demonstration. Let me break out of the PowerPoint. And again, What I've done is actually use a third-party tool. I've taken my iPhone and actually projected it onto my Windows system here to record the video demonstration. You see Mobile Alert there in the middle of my iPhone, again against my backdrop of my system. I'm simply going to start up the app, hit the start button. As soon as I hit the start button, camera will be engaged, and there we have a trash can. And we can actually use the zoom in a little bit if we want to, get a little tighter on the incident, take a picture of the incident we want to report. Citizen says he wants to use that photo. He could retake it if he liked, but he gets a chance to preview it. And then you see the stock categories that we got: vegetation, siding, property, trash, graffiti, pothole, vandalism, streetlights, flooding, different categories that he can choose from for reporting the incident. This one, of course, is trash. There I have a comment. It's optional. I'll end up stating the obvious here. We have some trash we want to report, and we can send the incident off. And again, this is the citizen out there in the community sending these incidents into the hosted back system to report them to his local authorities. So I've done my job. I've reported the incident, and I sent it off. Hopefully someone will act on it and take care of the trash I reported. What I'll do next is actually go into the portal, and I'll just go in as a client might go into the portal to actually view of incidents. Maybe he's got an email, wants to look a little bit further into what's going on, and see the incidents that's reported against his local area. I've got a list view. I got basic information, basic address information, time it's being reported, category, an ID against that as well. I can again look at that in a list view. I can click on an individual incident and get a little bit more information. Here I can see a snapshot photo. I can see the reported incident on a map. I can actually change the status if I have the privilege to do so. Maybe it's just been received, but if you want to move it to another status, maybe it's being investigated, or maybe it's something that's already been resolved. I can go back to my list view. Again, got a long list of issues been reported here in the Huntsville area. I can delete the incident if I want. Again, I have an option to go in and edit it, just another way of getting to the incident itself and seeing the information that's there in the database. The other thing I can do is go into the map view, and here I can see them across the United States. Large concentration of incidents here in the Huntsville area. Just our own QA department and some of the other employees here in Huntsville actually use the app themselves for some of the testing that we've done in the last couple of months. Getting a little bit tighter here to Huntsville, and you can see them kind of color-coded on this particular map based on status. But if I click on one, just another way of getting access to that incident. Looks like someone's taking a picture of a glass. Again, I see a picture of the incident itself and other additional information. I can go in and click on each one of those. A little bit tighter view here, actually with the Intergraph campus. Some of the things people have been, again, doing a lot of testing here. Looks like someone's taking a picture of something on their desktop. Just some QA. So let me log out of the portal, and what I want to do next is go into Geo Media. So I've shown how the citizens can actually report the incidents. I've shown how a client can actually get an email, see that incident, go into their portal, log in, see all the incidents that are applicable to their particular area. But what I'd also like to show finally is how you can access those incidents through a WFS service. And again, the point I'd like to make here is that the data, these incidents that are coming into the system, are being processed such that they are actual GIS features. And for this particular, for us, that means that they are stored in a Geo Media warehouse. So I'm going to access that hosted system in Geo Media Desktop, Geo Media Professional here. So I'm going to go in just to show my connection information. I've got different types of data servers that I'm using, but the one in particular is the last one on the list. It's got the Mobile Alert Madison name. It is a WFS data server, and you can see the URL there that I'm using to actually get access to that incident information that's stored in that database. We close this out, and I see the kind of tannish looking diamonds or shapes there, if you will. If I click on one, I can actually get additional information, again pulling this directly from the hosted system through the WFS service into the desktop. I have a URL. I can actually go in. Looks like some colleagues of mine are having a lot of fun in the office taking reporting incidents. If I click on one, again, that's some of the QA that we were doing here recently. But I've got them all within my GIS environment now, so I can treat them as any other type of data, integrate them with other vector data that I've got, do different types of analysis. And again, what I'm showing is simply the fact that there's a lot of incidents been reported here on the Intergraph campus. That particular street's the Intergraph way. What I'm going to do next is do some further processing on these incidents. I'm going to do a thematic display. So I'm just going to use Geo Media's add thematic legend entry command. Go in, I'm going to do a unique value thematic, and again I'll go down to my connections, pick the incidents as my input feature that I want to use. And then look at the properties or attributes on those incidents and decide what I want to do my thematic against. I'm going to do it through the category IDs. And I pick what color range I want to use for my thematics. Go ahead and hit the classify button, and now I see the different values that are out there, different IDs that are being used, and the counts against those. So just to make it a little bit more noticeable, I'll double the size here, choose another color. And so I've got thematic display. Based on the counts, based on the categories, the IDs that I've got different information. Again, if I go ahead and click on one, I've got one that says it's a pothole. It's actually in the Intergraph parking lot. Again, I've got a link to an image there. I can click on that image, and voila, I can see the pothole that's been reported in the Intergraph parking lot. And that's all coming through the GIS desktop. All right, that's the end of that demonstration. To get back into my PowerPoint, I've got last thing I want to do is simply point you to some additional resources. If you were to do a web search on Intergraph geospatial mobile products, you've come across some hits. There's the actual URL itself. On that website, you'll find a lot of additional information, things that I may not have covered today, but most of the information that I have covered is already there. Different brochures, different technical documents and specifications, and some descriptive information on both Mobile Alert and the Mobile MapWorks mobile products. So, with that, I'll start to take some questions. Let me get into the Q&A. Go ahead and, if you haven't already asked your question, go ahead and start to type those in. I'll take them as we can. We've got plenty of time. I've only used about 30 minutes of the webinar time, so we've got a good 10 to 15 more minutes if we want to ask some questions. Okay, so we've got a few questions that have come in. Looks like some people were having some trouble with some audio. Hopefully that got cleared up at some point. I apologize for that. I'm not sure I have total control over the audio that's been put on the webinar, but my assistant Amber Chambers, I'm sure, was working diligently to make sure most of you had audio at some point during the webinar here. One question that's come in is how are the configurations done? Basically, some of the data entry, the access to the attributes, what information is actually taken out into the field there for mobile MapWorks. Again, the configurations are all XML files, so we will be providing some assistance there in actually creating those XML data. But the XML configurations, those are the XML data. That configuration actually drives the content that you see on the device in terms of whether or not you have just view-only capabilities to the attributes in geometry, or whether you have some editing capabilities as well. So XML files are basically the structure of the configuration. Next question, very often asked, is can mobile MapWorks work in a disconnected mode? At this point, with this first release, the answer is no, it cannot. It only works in connected mode. We are looking at disconnected mode. It is a very top priority for us. We realize that you don't have coverage everywhere that you want to be, and that some things can be intermittent or interrupted at points in time. But there's no caching that goes on. All the changes that are made with Mobile Alert are made in real time through 3G, 4G, or wireless connections. One thing I will point out, though, is even though those are live connections, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be changing the live data in the GIS database. Certainly, if you've got transaction management enabled in some form or fashion against your GIS data, that WFS OGC service could be talking to a copy or a transacted form of the GIS data that can be reviewed or QA'd. Uses quality assurance on it before it's actually committed back to your live or master data. Let's see. Next question. Is the application on the iOS App Store? Not yet. Mobile Alert and Mobile MapWorks are being uploaded as we speak. They have to go through the approval process with Apple. That takes a few days to do so, but for both these products, we hope to have them up there and available to you in the next few days to a week. With Mobile Alert, of course, acting as a citizen out in the community, you can be able to report incidents. They'll get stored into our back end. With Mobile MapWorks, it'll be working in a demo mode. That is, we have a demo server set up for you to test or play around with the Mobile MapWorks product if you want. Again, looking down through some of the questions that have been asked. Again, so people are actually going out to the stores. It's good to hear that people are excited, actually using their smartphones to actually go looking for it. Both for iTunes and Google Play, they should be showing up there in the next day or so, next few days. Question came in about with Mobile Alert, can you have multiple pics of one incident? Pretty sure the answer to that currently is no. You get one chance. You basically can review what you've taken a picture of. I think maybe you've noticed it in the workflow there, or the demo that I had, that if you don't like the photo that you've taken, you do get an opportunity with Mobile Alert to retake it if you want. But after you hit the use button, then you're basically set to use that photo and report that incident unless you just somehow back out of the Mobile Alert app altogether. Good question. Are there any plans to release a Windows Mobile version? Currently, we're focused just on iOS and Android. However, it is part of the roadmap to offer the same apps on Windows platforms. I don't have any time frames for that at the moment. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up for anything anytime in the next couple of weeks or a month, but it is something that's on our roadmap, and hopefully we'll be providing something in the very near future for that. Can you customize the mobile alert pick list, or basically the categories? With this first release, the answer is no, you cannot. I mean, there is opportunity to, there will be an opportunity to customize that in the future, but for the global app, the app that we're putting out to the masses that we want everybody to use against our hosted backend, we think we've picked 12 or so categories that are very applicable to most every local government or utility. You can customize it or localize it. So if you want a local language, Spanish, French, German, they can be the pick list can be localized to speak in that local language, and depending on your phone's language, you'll get that particular version downloaded and used. We do have plans, again, as part of the roadmap, to allow our clients to go in and augment or change that wheel or pick list themselves. But currently, with the release that you'll be getting or seeing in the App Store soon, that opportunity does not exist at the moment. And again, that would be something that the clients would be able to customize, not the citizens themselves. We are going to make these apps globally available. They've been, Mobile Alert in particular has already been released in several different countries in the EU. What we're doing here in the U.S. is actually launching them globally and providing global support for them. New Zealand, Australia, Norway, the USA, those are all in progress at the moment in terms of providing this new global app. We've got opportunities in several other countries that are showing up. We've got email from, or notification communication from Poland. They're very interested. Spain, France, even some of the countries in Southeast Asia are in the process of putting some implementations and selling the mobile alert system. I've got several questions on pricing, both with mobile, MapWorks, and mobile alert. I'm not a salesperson, so I don't particularly talk about pricing per se. I suggest if you know who your Intergraph sales rep is, to get in contact with him, get the pricing from him. If for some reason you don't know who that is, I believe you can contact me. My email address is vince.smith@intergraph.com, and I will either get you in contact with a salesperson or help you myself in terms of the pricing. Let's see, some more questions that have come in. Again, more questions on the Windows platform, and again, I probably maybe wasn't clear earlier, but it is part of the roadmap. It's not part of the first release. It will be a subsequent release. If things go as planned, we should have something out in the next 6 to 9 months on Windows platforms. But again, those are tentative plans at the moment. Got lots of questions coming in. I try to get to everything as soon as I can, but lots of them are repeating over and over. So give me just a moment to make sure I'm not picking up on something that's already been asked. Seems to be a lot of the same questions over and over again. A good question came in about either Mobile MapWorks or Mobile Alert working with G-Technology databases. And the answer to that is it is planned. There has been some work done from a services standpoint, customization, if you will, to make Mobile MapWorks operate against a G-Technology database. If you remember during my presentation for Mobile MapWorks, I stated that it was really vendor agnostic and that it can work against WFS or WMS OGC services. However, you know, in particular, of course, we are more interested in working with our own database systems, our GIS systems, and Geo Media being the one that we do most of our testing and use cases with. But there has been several opportunities to have Mobile MapWorks for utilities and communication companies, and there has been some work to implement services on the back end that can recognize the G-Technology data and bring that data into that Mobile MapWorks client, be it on the iPad or an Android tablet. So there are plans. They're not available. That functionality is not available at the moment against the G-Technology database with the app we're launching here globally. But in the very near future, you should be able to use Mobile MapWorks against the G-Technology database. For Mobile Alert, it is very applicable to utilities and communications companies. The storage of the data, though, is still in a Geo Media warehouse. So no plans at the moment to make that storage in the hosted back in a G-Technology database. Again, another question on offline editing mode. Again, not possible currently with Mobile MapWorks. It needs to have connectivity. It does require some type of connectivity, whether it be 3G, 4G, or wireless, in order to operate currently. Offline editing mode, being able to cache data and synchronize that back to the GIS database is something that is part of the roadmap and something we'll be looking at for in a release very soon. Question on whether or not there's a trial version. Absolutely. When, you know, for Mobile Alert in particular, when it's available there on the app stores, you can download it. It'll work it's basically working against a production back end, but all the incidents will come in and we'll store those incidents. If you are a potential customer or client of the Mobile Alert system, get in contact with your local sales rep. And again, if you're not sure who that is, give me a call or send me an email, vince.smith@intergraph.com, and I'll assist you in any way I can to actually get you in contact with the right people. For Mobile MapWorks, same goes. You should be able to download that from the iTunes or Google Play stores. It is fully operational against a set of demo data and a configuration that we have set up for you to actually try the app out against one of our own servers that we've got here set up in the U.S. Got time for a couple more questions, I think. Another good question is whether or not Mobile Alert works on tablets. I had stated that Mobile Alert was working on my iPhone, and I said it was available for Android phones as well. Sure, it should work on your tablets. Most of the testing we've done against the smartphones Those tend to be the primary device that we've been targeting for some of the quality assurance that we've done. But there's no reason why you can't run mobile alerts on either an iOS, iPad, or an Android tablet. The website that I spoke about, where you get additional information and collaterals, there is a document out there with some system specifications. It outlines some of the devices, operating systems, Android versions that we have tested against. So I would suggest checking that out before you download it to a device and maybe become a little bit disappointed with the results. So check out, see what we've done QA against. It should work against most of the devices out there. Android, of course, is a variety of Android devices out there in different operating systems in the field. So testing against all those takes some time. So check out the devices that we've tested against, and hopefully your device is in that list as well. Any other questions? Seems as though we're running a little bit low on that. If I haven't gotten to your question, and I may have passed it up accidentally, feel free to type it in again. I apologize if I might have missed it. Okay, so I guess I have missed a few because some people are actually putting some more questions in. So let me see if I can handle these. Question on at what point the incident is actually put into a GIS database. There is basically a time interval from the time we actually get the incident into our back-end system to the point at which an email is actually sent out to the client, and the incident is put into the database. But it's almost insignificant. It's almost immediate for all practical purposes. You know, the time frame is adjustable. We control that ourselves, basically. You know, to regulate the load that we've got on the amount of processing that's taken place on that back end. But for all practical purposes, once the incident comes in, you can rest assured that an email is going to go out in a short period of time to the subscribing organization, if there is one, and that incident will be in the back-end system as well. Is there a limit on the number of geometries or features displayable in the Mobile MapWorks product? There's no limit that I'm aware of. Obviously, it's with Mobile MapWorks, again, it's a live connection, so it is going using bandwidth up to transfer the information. You probably want to be a little bit smart in how you set up the configurations against your GIS database and what data you're going out to the field. Obviously, for field inspection, there's not really a requirement to have the entire GIS database available to that person doing the field inspections. You only want to limit him what's absolutely necessary for him to get his job done. Any ancillary information that he needs should probably be done through the WMS OGC service so that it's coming across in a performant way, and only allow the vector data that you want him to basically change or update to come across as true vector data. So I think there's some best practices or some common sense techniques there as far as setting up the configurations to make sure that you're providing only the access he needs and doing it in a manner that makes the best use of the bandwidth available to you. But as far as I know, there's no limit on what can be brought across in terms of the number of geometries or number of features. Okay, any other questions that we've got? I think I've answered most of them. If I haven't, feel free to contact me. Again, my email address is fairly simple, fairly straightforward. It's vince.smith@intergraph.com. If you need some additional information, I'll get that to you, and I'll get you in contact with the proper sales person at Intergraph if you're interested in evaluating the products further. And don't hesitate to go out to that website and check out the collaterals that we've already made available to you. With that, I'll sign off. Everyone have a good day. Thank you very much for attending.